Hello, my name is Arsh Desai, and the question I'm going to be discussing today is how does the media, through both language and images, impact American public opinion on the gun debate? And so, first, I'm going to be talking about the importance of search and how my search got me to the specific sources I used. Um, in the book, The Allen and Bacon Guide to Writing, the sixth edition, published in 2011, authors Ramage, Bean, and Johnson discuss how, quote, the process of generating and exploring ideas, unquote, make up a large part of an exploratory essay. And that quote was found on page 125. And so from this, we can see how important the search results are and the sources we use are. And so I would like to direct your attention towards first the gun violence search entered in this query, and the first source that shows up, which is an ebook that talks about gun violence, and specifically as it pertains to the Virginia Tech shooting. Um, this source, as you can see here, puts into context the amount of people that die from gun violence each year to quote 82 per day. And so by doing that, they're really trying to claim that, or rather contextualize, the problem that guns pose in America, according to the author. But I'm going to be talking a little bit about how the news media actually plays up the role that these AR-15 style semi-automatic rifles have on the gun debate, and specifically how the news media uses that and manipulates that to paint a grimmer picture than actually is the truth. And so this first source is Framing the Gun Control Debate, Press Releases and Framing Strategies of the National Rifle Association and the Brady Campaign. Uh, it's an article found in Social Sciences Quarterly, and it was first published in July 18th, 2016 by authors Trent Steidley and Cynthia G. Colon. And they discuss the pro-gun National Rifle Association and the gun control favored Brady campaign, and they talk about how news coverage in the media affects um, the press releases of both of these organizations. And what they find is that both organizations use systemic framing strategies in their press releases, but only the Brady campaign has a significant association between specific frames in its press releases and coverage in the New York Times. Biases in news media have implications for how effective press releases will be for a social movement organization. And so here we find our first source of bias. The New York Times favors Brady campaign press releases, and it pushes those instead of giving equal coverage to both the Brady campaign and the National Rifle Association, even though the NRA is relatively bigger as an organization than the Brady campaign. This next two sources I'm going to be discussing. On the left, we have an image published on the Alamo Naples Indoor Gun Range about an AR-15 build course in 2016. And I'm using this picture as kind of a contrast to demonstrate what an AR-15 rifle looks like without any specific modifications. And then on the right, we have an image from the October 7th, 2017 show of CNN's The Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer, a show produced by CNN producers, including Blitzer. And this also features an image of an AR-15. And what we're looking at here is a quote underneath the image about how we need to look into banning rapid-fire bump stock. But the image in question actually doesn't include a bump stock modification on the rifle. It just features actually a suppressor and a grenade modification on the rifle, but there is no bump stock. And the show could chalk it up to just a simple mistake, but a mistake in a field like this, pertaining to an issue that's so critical and it's touching the lives of so many Americans right now, it's simply something that the show has to get right. And so at best, it's negligence, and at worst, it's uh, knowingly misleading the audience and influencing public opinion. And here are my works cited page. I will leave it here for a little bit just so that you guys can read it. Thank you so much for listening.